Mon nom est Brigitte Bélanger-Warner, je suis l'attachée de presse du spectacle haut du Cirque du Soleil à Las Vegas. Bienvenue au Cirque du Soleil.
Back in the early 1900s, when the circus came to town, it usually arrived in a few dusty wagons with elephants and a handful of tents. These traveling shows were barely profitable since very few farmers had disposable income to spend on entertainment. But the economy of the United States has since evolved through farming and industry to one based on service. Today, audiences can pay more, so their expectations are higher. And today's circuses, with their grand sets, expensive technology, and elaborate music, can be risky economic ventures. Fortunately, for entrepreneurs like Guy Laliberté, the risk has paid off. His groundbreaking Cirque du Soleil, a circus without animals, thrills audiences each and every day in 13 locations around the globe.
So here we are in the old theater. This is about 10 minutes before we open the doors to the public, so very soon this house will be packed with spectators who hopefully will have a wonderful time tonight at Cirque du Soleil.
But even a modern economy isn't safe from world events that can negatively impact travel and tourism. Despite this, Cirque has maintained steady growth for over 2 decades and now enjoys record sales approaching $1 billion a year. So how does a mere circus become so wildly popular and profitable when other businesses in its industry are struggling? The answer lies partly in Cirque du Soleil's original fundamental mission: to reinvent the circus from the ground up. And nowhere is this mission more evident than at the O Show in Las Vegas, Nevada, which has set a new standard for both imagination and technology.
And we keep pushing the boundaries further and further as the company evolves, and we work with different creators who bring in all these different ideas. So definitely the perfect blend.
Cirque shows are incredibly expensive to start. The sets and costumes cost money, and Cirque must find the best acrobatic talent in the world to pull off its stunning on-stage displays. And in the case of O, which is performed entirely around a 1.5 million gallon swimming pool, they need a great space to operate within. But what makes Cirque so different is the knowledge that its creators bring and the driving vision of its great founding entrepreneur to give it focus.
Guy Laliberté is definitely a visionary, but when he started in 1984, he had just a simple dream of traveling the world with his troupe of street performers and entertaining. He took risks that some people would consider to be quite great. He was daring in his choices at times, but it definitely paid off.
Guy's vision and commitment drove Cirque du Soleil through a period of growth and development that has expanded the business to include, among other things, over 3,000 employees that speak 25 different languages.
Well, our shows are very successful, and we are so happy that the public wants more and more every time. For example, O here at the Bellagio has been basically sold out since it opened in 1998.
Whether a fixed venue show like O or one of Cirque's traveling shows, Cirque takes great care of some of the most important stakeholders in their business, the remarkable talent that they recruit from all over the world.
Our performers are really the reason why we're all here, part of this company, and we need to take care of them, and Cirque du Soleil is really careful in making sure that the performers have everything that they need to be able to be happy and productive.
Hello Christophe, ça va?
Allô Brigitte.
Hello, comment ça va?
Ça va bien,
Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Je travaille sur Media Work.
Ouais, cool.
As you can tell, the stress level is very high back here. It's like...
Yeah, he's so experienced. He's done so many shows, I'm sure.
He has done.
The people at Cirque du Soleil, starting with Guy himself, are always conscious of how much they owe their success to the people who invite Cirque to their communities. To show their gratitude, Cirque gives back to those communities in every way it can, from building their Montreal headquarters on a recovered landfill to developing community outreach programs like Cirque du Monde.
We teach circus arts to kids in the street, and it's a way of giving them confidence in themselves and finding a purpose, and finding out that they can achieve something by working in a team, working together. And so one of the kids became part of Cirque du Soleil as well. He was so talented and so generous that he ended up being part of one of our shows.
But the greatest stakeholder in Cirque du Soleil is the audience, which Guy and his crew delight and fascinate with surreal spectacles of dance, acrobatics, and theater that you're not likely to see anywhere else in the entertainment world. Cirque is so successful and profitable because people love their shows so much.
What did you think of the show?
It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah?
I love it. It was wonderful. Awesome.
Hopefully when people see a Cirque du Soleil show, whether they come to one of our theaters or Big Tops or whether we perform at a corporate event, hopefully it will touch them and invite them to possibly think outside the box, feel a bit more creative, and feel like the possibilities of what can be done are endless.
Now, even something as unique as a Cirque du Soleil show is going to invite imitators, given the company's wild success. That competition can never really capture the magic of Cirque, but the company is careful to defend those elements that make its brand so special.
There are companies out there who have started to emulate the Cirque du Soleil style in some ways, and that is definitely flattering. We put so much care into our shows, and our brand is so strong that we do not want people to think that they're seeing a Cirque du Soleil show when they're seeing a production from a different company.
One way Cirque stays ahead of its competition is bleeding-edge technology. Their O show, for example, employs a stage comprised of underwater lifts and a truly innovative way to keep wet actors warm and huge audiences cool.
In order to keep the performers happy, the water is kept at 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and we need to keep the audience members at a comfortable 72 degrees. So we had to create basically 2 microclimates in the room to keep everybody happy. And this system that we used to create those microclimates actually won some awards because it was so innovative.
It's this combination of technology and talent that allows Cirque to pull off its most breathtaking stunts.
Cirque du Soleil likes to keep some of its secrets to preserve some of the magic. But I can tell you, in O, we have a character that sits in a chair and sits there and burns for what seems to be an eternity. He uses some stun gel and he has a Kevlar suit, but really he just sits there and burns and is very, very, very hot. He breaks the world record at every single show for the longest body burn without hot oxygen.
It all leaves Cirque at the top of its field without a peer in its class, yet Cirque continues to raise the bar on its achievements to make sure it stays fresh and inspiring.
We try to be in competition with ourselves. We try to, instead of saying, okay, we're going to do better this time, we're going to do different this time. As the company evolves, we work with different creators, therefore we go in different directions.
The diversity of Cirque's performers who come from every corner of the globe give the troupe its unique flavor and keep the show relevant to every market that Cirque performs within.
We have on staff over 45 different countries represented amongst the cast. We are 3,000 employees worldwide and on almost all of the continents. We have visited over 100 cities with our touring shows, and we have many, many more projects to come.
Cirque du Soleil has innovated a unique style of live entertainment. They've set the bar high as they move into the future, but if the past 20 years are any indication, this is a challenge that they're more than ready to accept.
There is a standby line out there by the box office, and it's always amazing to me walking into work and seeing people who are willing to spend 3, sometimes 4 hours of their short vacation, very often in Las Vegas, waiting to maybe get a ticket to O. It's always, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how fortunate am I to work for this company.
To meet the ever-growing expectations of their audience, Cirque du Soleil will continue to seek out new ways to thrill and surprise.
We are trying to see if we cannot maybe reinvent the hotel experience or the restaurant experience or the spa experience or the taxi cab experience. We now have a Cirque du Soleil experience on board of some of the Celebrity Cruises ships. There are no limits to Cirque du Soleil's imagination and creativity, so you'll never know where you're going to see us next.